Alrighty, halfway through the week, we have talked about Governor Bibb, another Governor Bibb, Israel Pickens, and today we are talking about William Rufus King. Here is William Rufus King right here. He was born April 7th, 1786 in North Carolina, just like Israel Pickens, who was also from North Carolina. He was smart and he started college at the age of 12. So can you imagine in 2 or 3 years being in college? Crazy, right? He was an excellent student and he gained the respect of both his classmates and his professors. After college, so remember he was 12, after college, he settled down in North Carolina and practiced law. Again, very similar to Israel Pickens, who was also practicing law in North Carolina as well. In 1806, he was elected to the state legislature and then to the U.S. Senate at the age of 24. So very, very successful at a very young age. 8 years later, he ended up moving to Alabama, and then he became a member of the convention that wrote the Constitution and actually helped Alabama become a state. So remember, we have our own state constitutions, just like we have the U.S. Constitution. Each state has their own constitution, and he helped write that and then helped Alabama actually become a state instead of a territory. He then represented Alabama in the U.S. Senate for 20 years. So even though he was born in North Carolina, he represented Alabama for 20 years in the Senate. He was also respected by the other senators, and he was so respected by those senators that they chose him to be the leader of the Senate. In 1858, King became Vice President of the United States, and he is the only Alabamian to ever be elected to that office. So that's pretty cool. Unfortunately, Mr. Rufus King was very sick, and knowing that he wasn't going to get any better, King asked to return to Alabama, where he actually died 6 weeks after the presidential election. So he knew that he was not well, and he knew that he was not going to be able to carry out the duties as he should have as vice president. So he came back home and passed away 6 weeks after the election was over. His intelligence, kindness, and diligence and humility earned him the respect and confidence of everyone who knew him. You've got to think, he was 12 years old in college, 24 years old when he was elected to the Senate. And when other senators elected him the leader of the Senate. So he was very well respected, very successful at a very young age. That wraps it up for William Rufus King today. Tomorrow is going to wrap up our entire lesson, and we're going to talk about the capitals of Alabama. Yes, I said capitals. There has been more than one. So come back tomorrow for some interesting information about the Alabama state capitals, and I will see you then.